If someone told you that the calmest person in a chaotic building isn't the CEO, or the manager, or the person sitting in a corner office, but the janitor pushing a mop down a dim hallway, you'd probably laugh. But life has a strange way of hiding its most valuable teachers in the most overlooked places. And on the night everything inside me collapsed, the person who held the map back to my sanity was a man most people never even noticed. The worst part about breaking down isn't the moment you break. It's the moment right before, the quiet cracking, the invisible unraveling, the part where you still pretend everything is fine even though you're suffocating inside. I was there, at that stage where life feels like a room filled with smoke. You can breathe, but barely. You can see, but blurred. You can speak, but the words come out wrong. And the craziest part? No one around you knows you're drowning. Because drowning in air makes no sound. That evening, I was sitting alone in the stairwell of the office building. My tie was loose, my heartbeat uneven, my thoughts loud, too loud. Another failure, another mistake, another reminder that no matter how hard I tried, I was still losing the fight inside my own mind. Deadlines were crushing me, expectations were choking me, and the voice in my head, the one that never slept, was whispering its familiar poison. You're not enough. You're falling behind. You're disappointing everyone. You'll never catch up. I buried my face in my palms. And then, I heard it. A mop bucket rolling softly across the floor. Wheels squeaking. Water sloshing. A soft hum floating through the quiet hallway. A janitor. I didn't even look up. I just wanted the world to leave me alone. But he stopped beside me. Not too close. Not intrusively. Just close enough to notice that something in me had snapped. You picked an interesting place to fall apart, he said gently. His voice was warm, calm, almost comforting. I didn't answer. I didn't have the strength. He set the mop aside, leaned on the handle like it was an old friend, and squinted at me through calm, steady eyes. You know, he said, people think stairwells are quiet because no one uses them. He let out a soft chuckle. But really, they're quiet because this is where people come to hide. I finally looked up. He was older, gray hair tucked under a faded cap, weathered face, eyes steady in a way that only comes from being broken and rebuilt more than once. You look like someone who's been carrying too much, he said. I exhaled sharply, a shaky, exhausted breath that held more truth than words ever could. He nodded, as if that breath told him everything he needed to know. Then he said, you know what weighs more than work? I shook my head. Thoughts, he said softly, especially the ones that lie. I stared at him, because somehow, in a single sentence, he had reached deeper into me than anyone in years. He continued, you think you're overwhelmed because of life, but you're overwhelmed because of the story you're telling yourself about life. I didn't know how to respond. He walked over, set the mop head in the bucket, and squeezed out the water slowly. The water dripped rhythmically, like a heartbeat calming itself. Then he spoke again. Let me tell you something. I've been cleaning this building for 27 years. I've seen people rise. I've seen people fall. And the ones who fall the hardest, he paused, are the ones who think they have to carry everything alone. A tightness in my chest loosened, just a little. He continued, you're not weak. You're human. Humans break. That's how light gets in. I swallowed. Hard. He noticed. You know why I'm always calm? He asked. I shook my head again. Because I stopped fighting life, he said with a soft smile. I clean the mess in front of me, not the mess in my head. One hallway at a time. One spill at a time. One day at a time. He tapped his temple. But up here, I don't scrub anymore. A small, unexpected laugh escaped me. He smiled wider. See? There's still a little life left in you. For the first time that night, I believed it. He sat on the stair a few steps above me, keeping a respectful distance but close enough to speak freely. What's eating you? He asked, and I surprised myself by answering honestly. I'm tired, I whispered. Of what? Of everything, I said. Of trying. of failing, of feeling like I'm never enough. He nodded slowly, not dismissively, but knowingly. You know what I call that? He asked. What? A noisy mind. He pointed to the lights flickering down the hallway. You see that? The light's not broken. It's just buzzing too loud. That's you. You're not broken. You're overwhelmed. Something inside me cracked open at those words. A truth I had ignored for too long. He stood up, stretched his back a bit, and said, Come, walk with me. I hesitated. But something in me followed. Maybe exhaustion, maybe desperation, maybe instinct. We walked down the hallway, the mop bucket rolling beside him. He said, You know, people think peace comes from fixing life, but real peace, inner peace, comes from fixing the mind first. He glanced at me, making sure the words landed. Life can be loud, he continued, but peace is something you carry. I furrowed my brows. I don't know how to find it, I confessed. He smiled. That's because you're searching outside when you should be searching inside. We reached a long corridor, freshly cleaned, floors shining like glass. He gestured broadly. You see this floor? It wasn't always this clean. It had dirt, mud, spills, footprints. But I didn't clean it by looking at the whole hallway. He raised one finger. I cleaned one step. He raised another. Then the next. Then he looked into my eyes. Your mind works the same way. I felt my throat tighten again. Start with one thought, he said. The loudest one. The one that hurts the most. And clean that one first. A silence fell between us. Not a heavy silence. A meaningful one. He broke it gently. You're not lost, he said. You're just cluttered. I closed my eyes. And for just a moment, my mind quieted. Just a little. Just enough to notice how tired I truly was. He placed a hand on my shoulder. Come back tomorrow, he said softly. I'll teach you the rest. I didn't plan to come back. But I did. Something in his voice, steady, knowing, ancient, pulled me back like a thread tied to the part of myself I thought I'd lost. The next night, he greeted me with a warm nod. Good, he said. You're ready for lesson 2. And without another word, he started walking. I followed, because I didn't know where else to go. Or maybe because he was the only person who didn't try to fix me, but simply understood me. He led me toward the basement, a place most employees never stepped foot into. The lights buzzed softly, flickering just enough to give the room a tired glow. The air smelled of old cardboard and lemon cleaning solution. He stopped beside a metal shelf stacked with supplies, then turned to me. Do you know why this place feels peaceful to me? He asked. I shook my head. Because everything down here has a place. Nothing pretends to be something it's not. A mop is a mop. A brush is a brush. A bucket is a bucket. They don't compete. They don't compare. They don't rush. They just exist for the job in front of them. He pointed to my chest. People forget how to do that. They forget how to just be. His words lingered in the air like dust catching the light. He walked toward a corner of the room where a small radio sat atop a box, humming a gentle tune. He lowered the volume until it became nothing more than background breath. Lesson 2, he said softly. Silence doesn't mean empty. Silence means space. I raised an eyebrow. What does that mean? He pointed to my head again. You've filled your mind with so much noise. Worry, guilt, pressure, expectations, that there's no room left for peace. If your mind is a room, it looks like this. He gestured to a cluttered pile of old boxes, stacked crooked, one bump away from collapse. That's your thoughts, all piled up, all begging for attention. He walked closer, gently moving one box aside, making space on the floor. But if you clear just one little corner, one small space, he tapped his fingers on the cleared patch. Peace will sit there, quiet, patient. I swallowed, because something about that made sense in a way nothing else ever had. How do I clear that space? I asked. He smiled. By doing nothing. I blinked. What? He laughed, soft and warm. Not lazy nothing. Not procrastination nothing. I mean the honest kind, where you let your mind breathe. I frowned, confused. He explained, you sit, you breathe, you let the thoughts scream. You don't fight them. You don't argue with them. You don't push them away. He inhaled deeply and let it out slowly. You just watch them until they get tired of shouting. I stared at him. That works. He nodded confidently. Thoughts are like children throwing tantrums. Ignore the noise, and they calm themselves. A strange warmth spread through me, relief mixed with disbelief. He continued, when you stop wrestling your thoughts, you stop giving them power. That's when inner peace slips in quietly, like a stray cat sneaking through an open window. I let out a slow laugh. I think I get it. He patted my shoulder. You understood it the moment you laughed in the stairwell. That was your mind exhaling. The following night, I came back again. And again. Some nights we spoke. Some nights we didn't. Some nights he taught me a lesson. Some nights he simply hummed his old tune as he mopped, and I felt calmer just being near him. But one night, a week after we first met, he said something that changed everything. He was sitting on an old wooden stool, wiping down his tools. You know, he said, everyone talks about fixing themselves, making themselves better, stronger, more successful. He paused, looking up at me. But not all broken things need fixing. His voice softened. Some things just need accepting. I leaned against the wall, listening. He continued, you're not a problem to solve. You're a person learning how to carry their heart. My chest tightened. He tapped the mop handle. This mop? It bends when I put pressure on it. If I push too hard, it breaks. If I don't push enough, it doesn't clean. He looked directly into my eyes. You do the same. I swallowed hard. I don't know how to stop pushing so much, I admitted. You stop when you understand why you're pushing, he said. A single tear slipped down my cheek. Not dramatic, not loud, just a quiet release of something I'd been holding for too long. He noticed. He didn't mention it. He just went on wiping the handle, as if giving me space to feel without shame. Another week passed. The lessons continued. Sometimes he taught with words. Sometimes with silence, sometimes with the simple rhythm of cleaning, as if his mop strokes were a meditation he had mastered long ago. Then one night he said, time for lesson 4. I smiled. By now I had learned not to ask what the lesson was. He led me to the rooftop of the building. The city lights shimmered. Cars moved like glowing ants. The night breeze brushed against my face, carrying the faint hum of the world below. This, he said softly, is a view most people never see. I sat beside him on the edge, legs dangling into the night. Why are we here? I asked. Because peace, he said, isn't the absence of chaos. It's learning to see from above it. He placed a hand over his heart. When you're caught in the mess, everything feels huge, impossible, heavy. He gestured at the city. But when you rise above it, even for a moment, you remember how small problems really are. A long silence followed. The city whispered below us. The sky breathed above us. And something inside me settled. Then something happened I didn't expect. The janitor sighed. A deep, tired sigh. I'm getting old, he admitted quietly. My knees hurt. My back complains. And sometimes, so does my heart. I turned to him. He wasn't looking at me. He was looking at the city. I've lived alone a long time, he said. No family, no children, just memories and floors to clean. My throat tightened again. But I'm not lonely, he added, because peace keeps me company. Then he turned to me, smiled gently, and said, and now you do too. Something in my chest warmed. He looked at me with those deep, steady eyes. You're not someone I clean for, he said. You're someone I see. My eyes burned. He continued before I could speak. All these years, I wondered if anything I knew meant anything. If anything I learned mattered. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a folded paper. I wrote down everything I learned about peace over the years, he said. I never showed it to anyone. He placed it in my hand. Until now. My breath hitched. Why me? I whispered. He smiled. Because you needed it, he said. And because you're the first to ask. The paper felt heavy in my hand. Heavy with wisdom. Heavy with years. Heavy with him. And then, before I knew what was happening, he stood up. I'm clocking out one last time, he said softly. I furrowed my brows. What do you mean? He smiled with a kind of peace I had never seen before. Tomorrow is my last day. I'm retiring. My heart sank. But I still have so much to learn. He placed a hand on my shoulder. And you will learn it, he said. But from yourself now. His voice softened. You have all the tools you need. Then he stepped back, his silhouette outlined by city lights. I taught you how to quiet your mind, he said. But only you can listen to it. We walked back down in silence. Not a heavy silence. A grateful one. At the bottom of the stairwell, he turned to me one last time. Remember, he said, inner peace isn't a place you find. It's a place you build. Then he gave a small nod, a silent goodbye, and walked away, down the hallway, mop bucket rolling softly behind him, his frame slowly disappearing, into the warm glow of a man who had already made peace with the world and with himself. The takeaway: some teachers don't come in classrooms. Some healers don't wear badges. Some guides don't stand on stages. Sometimes, your greatest teacher carries a mop, hums softly, and speaks in simple sentences that rewrite your entire soul. He showed me that peace isn't found in achievements, or success, or perfection. Peace is found in stillness, in breath, in acceptance, in knowing which thoughts to keep and which to let go. Peace is not a destination. It is maintenance. Like cleaning a hallway, one small section at a time. And every time life gets hard, and the old noise returns, I hear his voice again. You're not broken, just cluttered. And I smile, because for the first time, I know how to clean the mess